What's going on, guys? We're back. The Texas Rangers have made it to May 2021. It is May 7th. We just finished a 4-game set with Cleveland where we lost the series. And so far, things aren't going too great. Our team is pretty much dead last in every pitching category, and we are close to dead last in every offensive category. And the team currently sits at a very, very, very sad 16-21, 6.5 back of first, but we are fourth place in our division. We are in front of Seattle, as you can see here. Only 6.5 out, but I don't know. I am not too confident at this point, especially given the fact that the top two are Houston and Oakland. But it is only May, and the reason why I stopped here on May 7th is because on May 5th, the draft pool was announced. So we are going to go over the team and then go over the draft pool for a little bit, talk about who I am looking at and how we're going to proceed moving on in this season. So for a quick little update on the team, the state of the Rangers, we will look first at the pitching, which is probably the worst half of my team, but not by much. You can see if we'll sort by ERA. You can see that the guys are not doing very well. The pitching is not looking too good, and I don't know what I really don't know what is going on. I mean, everybody is underperforming like crazy all across the board. FIP extremely high on everybody. We do not have one below 4. Actually, I don't think we have one below 4. We have 4.4. Okay, so we don't have a FIP below 4.45. All of my pitchers are just struggling mightily right now. And I don't know why that is. I mean, it is still early, not too many innings under their belts, but the starters have pitched a decent amount, and it's just looking really bad. But real quick, I will look back at the starters here. So Colby Allard is doing pretty well. The FIP's a little high, which is worrying. The BABIP's a little low, but I mean, 4.17. He was doing a lot worse at the beginning of the season, so we'll take it. And hopefully he'll keep settling down because he has everything here to look like a pretty solid pitcher. And if he can replicate his end of 2020 or get anywhere close to it, as I said, the end of last season, that's a solid pitcher right there. Anderson started off really slow for us and has since picked it up. 3.83 ERA, about what you would expect from a guy like him. He's only here for this year. He's probably gone after this year. We traded for him just to kind of fill in the rotation and kind of supply a spark to it. Not much to say here. The BABIP is low. The FIP is also low, I think. Or the FIP is high, I mean. Yeah, so another one where it's kind of a question mark. But peripherals look decent except for the walk rate. All of my guys are just walking a ton of players or batters. And I really don't know why that would be. I'm not sure if it's... I hope it's not a catcher issue. It might be... we might have to examine the pitching coach situation, which will be coming up towards the end of this season. A few of my coaches are coming off the books, so maybe we'll look at that. But that comes later. We're not going to focus on that right now, unless things get really bad. Ariel Jurado came up to cover for some injuries. Mitch White went down first for, I think, 2 weeks, so Jurado came up for him. Has pitched pretty well in a couple starts, or a few starts. I think he started 4 games, 3.38 ERA. Once again, the FIP is high, but he is our highest ERA pitcher at the highest WAR pitcher at this point, lowest ERA pitcher. So he's looking good, and depending on how everything shakes out, he might have a home in the rotation because The numbers in Nashville last year weren't great, but I called him up because he was already on the 40-man. He's 25, and he's a known commodity, and he's looked good so far. So he stayed up because Gibson went on the IL. Gibson's out for another few weeks. So to replace him, originally I called up Taylor Hearn. I think Hearn pitched like one game and then went down, so not a big deal. Martin is doing very poorly. High FIP, high BABIP, high opposing average, high ERA, tons of home runs. The walks actually aren't that bad compared to the rest of the team, but tons of home runs. I mean, he just looks bad. And I mean, we might have to send him down to the minors to work some things out. He's got options left. I mean, this just isn't good. So I'm hoping that the pitchers can kind of stabilize a little bit. Mitch White also, he missed some time with the injury, but he looks really bad as well. The BABIP is high, the ERA is extremely high. The FIP is not as high for him, which I think is an encouraging sign. So I'm hoping that, because it really, I mean, it's a little walk-fueled, I think, his collapse. The homers obviously are going to hurt him, and I think it might just be untimely homers, but the walks are where it's going to hurt. So if he can cut down on the walks, even just a little bit, we'll be in good shape. So him, I'm not too worried about going forward. Maybe he'll stabilize. Allard, I'm not too worried about. Anderson, I'm not too worried about. Martin, we might have to send him down to figure some things out. But I'll keep an eye on them going on, and in June I'll reevaluate them and see how we're looking. The bullpen has been pretty terrible. Our best reliever is Joe Barlow, and he's got a 3.5 ERA with a super high FIP. He is walking 6 guys per 9, and it just gets worse. Leclerc looks bad. Guerrero looks bad. Martin doesn't look good. Joely Rodriguez is a lefty specialist, and he's got a 4 ERA. It's just sad all across the board. Romero doesn't look great. I don't know what his problem is. Well, I guess it's the long ball, but 60 movement. Like, what is happening? I'm so confused. And then Workman is underperforming like crazy. He's walking 7 guys per 9. He's giving up bombs. He's still striking guys out, but the walks, man, they're killing me. And, we signed him off of a 1.99 ERA in a year where he gave up 0.2 homers per 9. In a small sample, but, still. So for him to be this bad this year is tough. So that team option, not looking great. I was hoping that maybe we could trade him, but we're not going to get too much for him when he's pitching like this, that's for sure. But like I said, we'll keep an eye on it. We'll see what happens. Lineups-wise, the offense isn't great either. I'll sort by OPS here. My best hitter has been Howie Kendrick, but he hasn't hit a lot. He's been on the bench, and he was actually mad about that, so I decided to, very recently, to force start him. Get him some reps for like a month or so and see if he keeps this production up or if his numbers start to go down, because he is on a 400 BABIP. So we'll examine that as we let him go. William Contreras looks pretty good so far. He's getting on base at a very good rate. He is walks and strikeouts are pretty even. He's hitting okay. The BABIP isn't too low. Like, there's actually room for growth. Not too much power, but he's not really a power threat. And the catching wise, he's good. So I'm confident. I'm hoping that he can keep on developing well for us. Rugned, I forced started a little bit ago because he was mad about not playing second, and our starter, Alamize, has been our worst hitter consistently this year, and Chris Woodward is adamant that he start. Now, obviously, he's starting because of his glove. His glove is phenomenal, but, when we have a guy who has a decent bat and who is being paid $12 million, I'd much rather just see what he can provide for us in a year like this. So We're going to force start Rugden. Maybe we can get trade value. Probably not. We're probably just going to have to hold on to him for next year. And then in 2023, that team option's probably done. So, but he was hitting well, and he's gone down a little bit, but he's still doing okay. The homers aren't there, but the OPS plus is there. So we'll keep an eye on him as we continue. Solak has really rebounded this year, which is very good to see, and which was what I was saying. This was not him, and I don't know why he was doing so poorly. Maybe he doesn't want to play second base. I don't know. But he has been sent to left field, and he has been doing very well. 281, 346, 460. He's got good numbers across the board. OPSing 800. He's already almost a one-win player. They're really good out of Solak. Basically, what we needed to see. Jason Martin, he's doing decently so far. He's OPSing 800 as well. The average in the OBP, a little down right now. I'm hoping they can go up. His BABIP is slightly on the low side, so there's a little bit of room for growth there in terms of offensive numbers. But, so far I'm impressed. It's obviously not his September last year where he just dominated, but maybe he can get to that level at some point this season. And I don't know if I mentioned it, but he did win Rookie of the Month in that stretch last year. Calhoun has been solid. He started off hot. It's kind of slowed down, but he's still OPSing around 800. He's got 7 homers. The bat's okay. He's the designated hitter now. He's out of the field, so I'm hoping that his offensive numbers can jump back up. But right now, he's okay. Guzman, not hitting great in terms of, percentages and rates, and the BABIP was a little low. He was hitting for good power. He has 9 home runs already, but he's also striking out a ton, 47 Ks. He's only walked 19 times. So I was thinking, that was another reason why, he was kind of scuffling a little bit. Howie Kendrick's bat is hot. Might as well get it into the lineup and see what happens. If he supplies some kind of spark, we can get him in. If not, maybe we can trade him. He's on a 1-year contract, and that's kind of why I signed him. That on top of the captain factor, but, he's a 1-year guy. He'll come in, maybe perform well. We can unload him at the deadline for some kind of value. But, yeah, Guzman, once again, kind of scuffling, which, again, the ratings. The ratings look better than what he's doing on the field, so I'm hoping he can turn it around. Gallo is doing Gallo things. He's hitting 190, OBP of 300. His OPS plus is league average. 9 homers. He's striking out like crazy, but that's Gallo. 52 strikeouts already. He's been a second half hitter. He's been a lot better in the second half of the season, so hopefully that'll continue. Lamb has been bad, like really bad. The OPS plus is okay, but the numbers just aren't great. He's kind of looking like Gallo light, 315 OBP with a 196 average, but the home runs really aren't there. He's only got 5. I was hoping for better from him, especially because, and a small amount of action with the D-backs, but enough time. He hit well, and I was hoping that was a positive trend. I was kind of buying low, hoping that maybe he would get back up to 16, 17 levels of production. That does not appear to be the case. So he might be another guy who is tradable, especially given that third base rating, and also the guys that we have down in the minors. Williams hasn't been playing a whole lot, which is a shame, partly because we just have so many outfielders on the team, but, he hasn't hit well in the small amount of ABs he's gotten. Hopefully he can rotate in a little more. Cufo is one of my backup catchers, in the 3-man rotation. Not too much to talk about really there. He's in for his glove mostly. Andrews not doing too well, and his defensive defensive rating at shortstop isn't great. So he is not providing that much value for us at this point. The bat is kind of falling off. The fielding is falling off. He's another one where we're just kind of waiting for the contract to kick. And then Kiner Falefa is doing his thing down at the bottom of the lineup. Like I said, his future is kind of up in the air for us just because of the amount of catchers we have. And he's just not too impressive. He doesn't seem to me like a long-term solution. And he might be valuable. He's controlled, so we'll see. And then Alamize, he's a glove first guy. Hasn't been great. Like I said, I 4-started him out. So that's the story here. Really hoping for more positive news in the June version of this update. But with that June version of the update comes the first year draft, and the draft pool has been announced. So we can take a quick look at that. You can see my scout only likes 2 players in it. Favorite ability strikes again. In the mock, we are projected in the first round to take Brady House. I looked at Brady House. He is okay, very power-focused third baseman. He's a high schooler. His bonus demand isn't that high. And so that's a good thing. He's a leader, but I mean, his defensive ratings aren't very good. Doesn't look like he'll stick at third at this point. And the bat is it's power, power only. OSA likes him a lot more, but it thinks he's a worse defender, which I find kind of strange. But I haven't really looked too much into a lot of these guys. So he does look like the best option that might be available to us. And I mean, if he's the best option available, we might have to take him. I'm hoping Leiter is projected to go 3. I don't think he'll fall to us, but I'm hoping he does. My scout loves him. He's a good pitcher. Did well in college, and I just really want arms. I want a college arm in my system, and I think he would do well for us. Kumar scares me, man. The control is super low. The pitches look good, but the control is too low, and OSA even agrees the control is bad. They actually say his control right now is worse, which does not bode well for him at this point. So, yeah, I've looked at a few of these other guys. I like this Marcelo Meyer guy, but his bonus demand is extremely high. And he is also a high schooler, so there's a little bit of risk there. I've looked at JT Ginn, and he doesn't really impress me that much in terms of ratings. He looks like he might be a reliever when all is said and done. This Porter Brown guy, I looked at him. He doesn't look great. OSA doesn't even like him. My scout seems to be high on him. So, I don't know, dude. I don't know, dudes. I mean, Matt McClain looks average. Like, this draft class is it's batter heavy, and it's kind of underwhelming. And I wonder how much of that is my scout and how much of that is the players. But, we are projected to go for House at 5. And then we have Cam Guangarena, who's a catcher. He played in the Cape League for a little bit. He's a good player. Great bat. They actually have his offense rated pretty well here. They have his bat rated low. Come on, scout. There we go. So, and then let's see who we have. Isaac Rodriguez right now is our 3rd round pick. Strassener is our 4th round pick, and Torres is our 5th round pick. So I still have to look a little bit more into this, really get into the scouting and look at all of these guys who are expected to go in the 1st round, see if there's maybe a steal for us there. But I mean, for me, my guy is Leiter. I doubt he gets to us, but if he does, I mean, I'll do a happy dance. So, yeah, that's all we got really for this update. Just wanted to go over that, the pool, the players. You can see here, in the injured list. Gibson is down. We're going to be getting Brock Burke back, which is a pretty welcome development, and I'm hoping that he can slot into the rotation and do some work for us. But he's going to have to go on a rehab assignment, and I'm going to probably leave him down there for the duration. And then we're also going to be getting Scott Engler back, which gives us a little more bullpen depth. So those two guys will be going on their rehabs pretty soon. Burke in 3 days, Scott Engler towards the end of the season. So that is where we stand right now. We have a few guys in the minors who are looking to maybe get some action soon, and that'll obviously be something we approach later. I'm not going to be calling guys up in May because their season just started, unless I have to. But maybe I'll go over the minors at a later date, do like a minor league special, like a minor league special update at some point when I do call-ups or something like that, look at my prospects. But that's it for now. I just wanted to look at the pool and look at the players. Next, we go to Tampa for 3, and then we have a homestand against AL East teams. So I'm hoping we can start to turn it around. I mean, after that first tough stretch from March to April, we look a little bit better. So I'm hoping we can figure it out. So thank you guys for watching. Thanks for the support. Thanks for some of the comments that I've gotten. I'm trying to reply to most of them. So, but yeah, if you enjoyed, like the video, subscribe to the channel to see more, see how I get out of this mess, see how I run the Rangers into the ground. Yeah, leave a comment if you have any suggestions, any feedback, any questions. I'll try to reply to as many of them as I can. And yeah, that's all I got for this episode. I will see you guys in June for the first year player draft.